Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're tuning into this Beachboys TV special, as we look back on 2020, a year full of turmoil and excitement for any Beachboys fan, from behind closed doors football to, of course, reaching Wembley and the Build-based FA Trophy final. To review 2020, I've got the first manager Danny Scopes and his assistant Lee Minshull to look back on a rather interesting 12 months. Right, joined then by Scopes and Minch for a review of a quite peculiar year in 2020. Firstly, gents, just your thoughts and reflections on a rather weird year in general and a weird year in the life of a football management duo.
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit of the unknown, really. I don't think anyone's experienced it before, or I haven't experienced it before, so you have to sort of roll with the punches a little bit, which is difficult, and I'm not going to lie. Has been difficult at times, not knowing whether you're coming or going. A certain protocol that you have to work to, so it's been different. Obviously, as our second year really as a management duo, it's been challenging at times, but I'd like to think we've handled it the best we possibly can. I think the players would agree with us on that. We've dealt with things the right way and stuck to the protocols ourselves, looked after the boys, had their best health at heart as well, which is important, and our management team as well, so I think we can be proud of how we've dealt with that off the pitch. From the rest of the management team and our players because of that as well.
Minch? Yeah, as you say, it seems a long time ago now when it was all stopped at the back end of last season, and like looking at the football side of things, we obviously had that FA Trophy semi-final to play, which we got out of the way in the end. So there was always that hangover from last year as well. And then obviously to start fresh with a new group, and we had that to think about in the background, and the rules and regulations we had around that and putting the side out. So it was challenging from that front as well, wasn't it? Because a lot of our chats we had were around a very important game for the club and ourselves as well. So yeah, lots of challenges along the way. I think it's been a bit of a learning curve, and there's been a few situations that obviously we've never dealt with before. And I think the lads have responded quite well to it, to be honest. We've had some real good training, particularly the last few weeks. So hopefully moving forward to a brighter 2021.
Obviously you talk about challenges and events. I suppose the big challenge was obviously coronavirus. How, heading into obviously the 2020-2021 season, did COVID and kind of all the protocols and stuff affect kind of planning into this campaign?
Yeah, well it affected match days, didn't it, and training and stuff like that, with how you can turn up, and even like simple things like access to away games, and you can't get in dressing rooms till 1:30, and then you're not in a dressing room together, you're split or over part. You've got to be careful of how many people you've got in there, and that, so that all plays a part. And footballers and management alike, we like routine. I think that's, we like to know where we're at and not overcomplicated complicated rules and stuff, and we like just to know where we're at, and these things have sort of changed, and when you haven't done that, you've been involved in football a long time, and these changes happen, they do have an effect, and you can't use it as an excuse, and you can't put performance down to that, and an individual or collective performance, I don't think you can. I think we've got to be bigger than that, and when you cross the white line, you're still across the pitch and you're still playing, so you can use that as an excuse for a performance, but I think it has been, as I say, challenging for certain individuals and us as a management team, and it does have an effect, and it'd be lying if it didn't, but I think we've dealt with it in the right way, and it's not the reason why we probably haven't performed in certain games. It's either to do with personnel maybe, or just set up maybe, or just not quite getting it right, or punching ourselves in the face, as I keep saying. So, but I think we've dealt with things in the right way and tried to deal with it as best we possibly can. And I don't think you can put it down to any reasons why performances have been bad. And I think we know why performances have been bad when they have been, and there's been a lot of highs as well. And then the FA Cup first round and semi-final we had to play in pre-season. We've had some good results as well and some good performances. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag, but I'd like to say it's been challenging, but can't use that as an excuse moving forward either.
I think obviously if people are going to use it as an excuse, it creates that sort of excuse culture for not winning football matches and having that excuse, and I think it's kind of an attitude of just you need to get on with it. It's no difference to turning up late because the buses, or you got stuck in traffic or something like that. It's a situation that's been presented to yourself. You try and prepare the best case you can, and go out and get a positive result.
So you talk about high and low points. There's been plenty of them over the last 12 months. What for you then personally would be the highest point of the year, and maybe the lowest point, and where you've really kind of contemplated kind of what's been happening?
Yeah, I think the FA Cup run was good. I think the nature of having the semi-final of the FA Trophy to deal with, and and then starting your league campaign with against teams that have played quite a few games, albeit a lower division, and having to go to Potter's Bar on a Sunday, and then to Whiteleaf on a Tuesday, and then chipping them at home in a tough game to get that first round at Stevenage, and then so proud of the performance at Stevenage as a club. That's one of, I think, goes down as one of the best performances I've seen in all the time I've been involved at the club, and to manage that and set us up, thought we got it perfectly right, and just one spot kick away from getting ourselves into that second round. So I think that's a real high, and I think the way we dealt with that under what we've just said, this coronavirus protocols we had to go with, that was a real high and real positive for the group. I think it took a bit out of the group and maybe sort of escalated us, moved us forward quite quickly, and when we sort of went out of that, we had to sort of have a rethink and readjust ourselves a little bit as well. But I think that's a real high for me. A low would be probably losing at Maidstone 6-0, and still hurts me to this day that really disappointed, and not only disappointed in the way we played, but I think as a management, as I said on the day, I think we got it wrong second half, and we left the boys out to dry a little bit. So that's a lesson that we've learned, and there's been a couple of other defeats where we've, I think, like say, not disappointments, because more frustrations, because we should have got points, or we should have got a point, or we should have got 3 points, and keep saying to the boys, we keep punching ourselves in that face and letting ourselves down in small periods of games, and that's what hopefully we can stop into 2021 moving forward. And I think if we do that, then we can move up the table and we can pick up some points in league games, because that's all we've got now, league games as well for a lot of teams. That's all you've got, and so it's got to be important.
I think if you rewind back to this time last year, it probably was the time when it all started to click, wasn't it? We won 5 or 6 on the bounce, and that probably set us up for the FA Trophy run, because it all started clicking, and obviously the FA Trophy run, because of the nature of it, probably took priority after that, and we slipped away in the league. But we had some real good key performances over Christmas and set us on a good run, and we got up the table. And I think, as the gaffer said, like punching ourselves in the face or whatever, there's been a lot of key moments in games that haven't quite gone our way for whatever reason. And it's up to us to obviously look at that, how we can change that, how we can get that right, but also for the lads to look at it. And we've obviously made changes in personnel. That's one thing we can do, perhaps the way we play or whatever, but other than that, it's up to the lads to get out there and get it right.
You talk about things clicking. Obviously this time last year it really started to click as we went on a big run, talk about like the wins at Dartford and stuff like that. Do you think then that having only played 10 or so league games so far, as well as the FA Cup, it's just taking that little bit longer for the players and stuff to click?
Yeah, I think the nature of Concord Rangers is you always get turnaround of players, you always get a change of players at the start of every season, because players move on and go up the leagues or up the levels, and others decide to leave for certain reasons, which we have to accept. So it always takes a little bit of time, and I think over the course of the years you've always had to really sort of Christmas, where you start to get, even prior to my time when watching Concord Rangers, and a couple of signings around the Christmas period, and it seems to pick things up and go on and be a bit stronger in the second half of the season. I think the benefit we've got now is we're at Christmas, but we're still only an early part of the season, aren't we, really? So we're advanced, and if we feel it's going to get better now, then we're ahead of probably where we needed to be in previous seasons. So I look at the group we've got now, and we've got some real good, talented players, young, energetic, and a little bit of experience in there as well, with what we've always wanted. And I'm excited by them. I'm excited by them. Doesn't mean we're going to go and win every game, because it's a real tough league and real tough challenges. But I'm excited by the group we've got. And as Mint said, like looking at the training we've had and the quality of the training, the intensity of training we've had, it's been real good. And there's a bit of a buzz around the place, and I've got to turn that into points and turn that into performances. But we're excited about it now. And I think before we were a little bit nervous and couldn't quite put our finger on maybe what we needed to do. But I feel like we're getting it right now, and hopefully we can put that into some wins and move up the table.
Well, last season we probably started better than we expected. This year we've probably started not quite as well as we'd hoped. But yeah, as you say, moving forward, these Christmas games are usually a real good period and games to be involved in with the fans, etc. I think having the fans every week, I know it's the same for every team out there, but for some reason I don't know if that galvanised us a little bit, gave us a bit of a lift with them 2 home games with fans. Obviously picked up 4 points in them 2 games, so it'd have been nice to go straight into the next games, but it's the cards we've been dealt. And it sets us up for a good game at Billericay on Saturday.
And finally then, we'll look ahead to 2021. I'm sure everyone at home is hoping for it to be a lot nicer than 2020 has been. What are your hopes for the next 12 months of football at Concord Rangers? Obviously, I'm hoping a date for our game at Wembley and stuff like that, but what are your for the rest of the season, look ahead at the next 12 months, do you want to, where us as a club want to be?
Yeah, I think this next month's going to be vital. I think, with decisions and a couple of things we've heard about leagues, continuing or stopping, and what they're saying, actions now in the Premier League and stuff, which will filter down to us. So I think this next month's quite important, and what happens. Hopefully we can keep playing as long as it's safe to do so. Hopefully we can keep moving forward in that way, and I'd like to think we can be real positive about the start of the year in what we do, and we want fans back. That's of course we do, because I think you look at the Bath game and the late goal and the drama, and that does that happen without fans? Maybe at any place or any team, it maybe doesn't. So I think we want fans back. That's what we've got to try and look forward to. I just want to see good performances from us, and just real energetic, front foot, positive Concord performances, as we call them, on the football pitch. And I feel if we start getting that, fans or no fans, I think we can go away and say, yeah, we're giving it everything we've got, and as we give it everything we've got, if we come on the right side of the result or not, we could be happy with that. And that's our challenge, to try and push these boys to do that.
Yeah, obviously we've got the FA Trophy as well. Hopefully that's something that gets resolved, and we get the day out that the club deserves. Moving forward in the league, I think you see how quickly it changes with a few results and a few wins. It's such a tight league. There's teams on paper that are overachieving, some teams on paper that are probably underachieving. So we'll look at that, and if we can put a few results together and build on what we did previously before this break in the FA Trophy game, this year's FA Trophy game, then hopefully that's something we're moving in the right direction. And as Gaffer said, we've trained really well, good intensity. I think a couple of the additions that we brought in have made a difference to that. Sort of young, hungry with point of proof. So hopefully we can take that forward, and the results match what we're expecting.
Perfect, gents. Great to catch up with you. Even better when it's the two of you. And we'll see you in the new year.
Yeah,
New Year, mate.
Happy New Year.